everyone, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about all of my most anticipated releases of 2021. So I have my little list here. Some of them I know the dates that they're going to be released. Some of them haven't been announced yet, but they say that they should be published in 2021. And I'm literally so excited for all of these books. Let's just start with January. So the first one that I am highly anticipating is Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna McGuire. This is the next installment in the Wayward Children series. There are 5 books out now. Yes, 5 books out now. This would be the 6th, and I love these books so much. I highly anticipate these books every single year. She releases about one a year, and she has said that she will continue to buy them as long as her publisher is interested in publishing them. So that makes me very happy because I absolutely love them and I don't want it to end. I find these stories to be very interesting, and they're very short. They're usually around 200 pages or under 200 pages, so it's a very quick read, and I am just so pumped for this next installment. And that is supposed to come out January 12th. The next book released in January is Shipped. I forget who the author is. It'll pop up on the screen here. This book is supposed to come out on the 19th of January, and it is pitched as a cross between The Hating Game by Sally Thorne and The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. And those are 2 of my favorite hate to love romance books. And this just sounds so interesting, and Gabby from Gabby Reads has read it and she loves both of those books too, and she ended up really loving this book, so I am just very excited to read this one. Moving on to February, this is probably my most anticipated release, and I say probably, but it definitely is my most anticipated release of this next year, and that is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. So if you don't know, this is kind of a spin-off series from the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, which is my favorite series of all time. It has my favorite book ever, and these 2 characters that it's going to follow are 2 characters that I've been rooting for since A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm just really excited to see their story play out, and I've already ordered like 3 editions of it. This is supposed to come out February 16th, and I could not be more excited. Now, currently I don't have any books that I'm anticipating coming out in March, but that could change as books become announced, and I have a little list of books here that don't have a release date yet, so they may pop up in March, but I don't know. So I'll talk about those books at the end. But as of right now, I don't have any anticipated releases coming out in March. And in April, the book that I am anticipating is The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. This is the 4th book in the Truly Devious series. And I had thought that it was just going to be a trilogy. And I think this book is just like a one-off, like it's just like a story that happens with these characters. I don't think it's going to be another series, or I don't think it's going to be more books after this, but I really loved the Truly Devious series. I really like Stevie as a character and the whole concept of her being like a teenage sleuth. And so I am really excited to read this next book. It's supposed to come out April 6th. Moving on to May, I have 3 books that I am highly anticipating. The first one is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, and this is the author who wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue, which I absolutely loved. So I just loved like the writing in it and how she wrote characters. So I'm very excited to see what this story is about. Honestly, I don't really know very much about it. I just know that Casey McQuiston wrote it, and so therefore I am highly anticipating it. And that book is supposed to come out on the 6th of May. And then next up is Heartstopper Volume 4. I read and absolutely loved the first 3 volumes in this series this year, and so I am highly anticipating the next installment in this book, or in this series. And Alice Oseman released the cover for it, which obviously will be up here on the screen, and I just love it. I love Nick and Charlie so much, and I can't wait to see where the story goes. And that is supposed to come out on the 13th of May. And then the last book that I'm anticipating coming out in May is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've only read 2 Taylor Jenkins Reid books, which is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Daisy Jones and the Six. But I do want to read some of her backlist before this book comes out. but it looks really interesting, and I really like how she writes books and how she writes characters and like relationships and stuff. So I'm very interested to see what this story is about and see who these characters are. And yeah, I definitely want to read some of her other books before that comes out, but I'm anticipating that one. Moving on to June, I just have one release that I am anticipating, and that is Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard. I still haven't read Blood Witch, which is the third book in the series. It's the Truth Witch series, or Witchlands series, I think it's called. But as of right now, I am planning to reread Truth Witch, Wind Witch, and Sight Witch, which is a novella between the second and third book. And then I need to read Blood Witch. It's been on my TBR for nearly 2 years now, and I just need to get to it. I know that I loved it, but the time that it took from Sight Witch to Blood Witch, like I just forgot so much of what happened, and then I never reread the books. So I didn't want to just dive into Blood Witch not knowing, not remembering everything. So I'm going to reread those books, read Blood Witch, and then be ready for Witch Shadow to come out on the 22nd of June. My next highly anticipated release is coming out in July, and that is Riley Sager's new book, and it's called Survive the Night. It's coming out on July 6th, and this year, 2020, I've read all 4 of Riley Sager's books and absolutely loved them. I know some people take issue with like his first 2 books, but I loved them. I thought they were really well done. I really liked them, so there hasn't been a Riley Sager book that I haven't liked, and so I am very, very much anticipating this next book. It sounds super cool, super creepy, kind of like a Stranded, like you're stuck with a possible killer, and it just sounds amazing. So I'm definitely anticipating that one. Again, for August, there is nothing that I have written down for August, but again, that could change. But as of right now, I don't have any books coming out in August that I'm anticipating. So moving on to September, I have 2 books that I am excited to pick up in September. The first one being Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. This was supposed to come out in 2020, and it got pushed back an entire year, which is fine because it's not like I'm already invested in the story. Like, it's just a new book by Jay Kristoff, so it's not like I was left on a cliffhanger and I was very much anticipating it. But even if it was, I would still be okay with it being pushed back. Like, it would suck, but I always want the author to write the book to the best of their ability and make sure that it's the best that it possibly can be before publishing it and giving it to the readers. So I'm very much anticipating this one. I think it's going to be dark and bloody and phenomenal. And that's supposed to come out on the 16th of September. And then on the 21st of September, I have another TJ Klune book coming out, which is called Under the Whispering Door. The House in the Cerulean Sea was one of my favorite books of 2020, and I just really like TJ Klune's writing, and I'm just very excited to pick this one up. It's like the cover kind of reminds me of the House in the Cerulean Sea cover, and so I hope that it's just as whimsical and adorable as that book. And if I didn't say, that's coming out on the 21st. Moving on to October, one of my most anticipated releases of the year is going to be Kingdom of the Cursed by Carrie Maniscalco. We don't have a cover right now, but I'm sure that it will be amazing. This is book 2 in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, which again was one of my favorite books of 2020, and I can't wait to see where this story goes. It's coming out right around Halloween time, and since it's about witches and demons and it's like a dark romance, it's just going to be perfect, and I can't wait for this one to come out. It comes out on the 26th of October. Moving on to November, right away in November, November 2nd, is supposed to be the release of Crescent City number 2. So House of Earth and Blood was the first book, and we don't have the title or the cover revealed yet for this, but I know that that's what Goodreads says is the date that it should be published, but sometimes that gets moved around. So it's supposed to come out on November 2nd. Hopefully it does, and hopefully we get a title and a cover revealed soon, but I am very eager to see where this story is going to go. That was my favorite book that I read in 2020, so yes, I'm highly anticipating it. Anytime a Sarah J. Maas book is released, it's like automatically up at the top of books that I'm anticipating. So I can't wait for this book to come out. And then as of right now, I have no books coming out in December that I'm anticipating, but now I can talk about the books that don't have a set date that they're coming out on. They just say that they're going to be published in 2021. So the first book that we don't have a date set yet is The Good Girl's Guide to Murder, book number 3. So I read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder this year, and then I picked up the second book this year, Good Girl, Bad Blood, but I had to buy the UK edition because it still hasn't been released in the US yet, but it should be released, I think, in March in the US, so March of 2021, but the third book will be published in the UK first, and so I'm just going to buy the UK edition so that I can read it because I'm really excited about it. So I know that that'll be coming out in 2021. I just don't know when it'll be coming out in the US, but doesn't matter. I'm just gonna buy the UK edition so I can read the story. Next up, that doesn't have a date set yet, is Those Who Run Towards Fire, which is book 3 in the Beartown series by Frederick Bachman. I read Beartown and Us Against You by Frederick Bachman, which are the first 2 books in the series, in 2020, and I just really like that story and like reading about the characters in that town, and so I'm very eagerly anticipating the 3rd installment. And then the last one I have here is Girls with Rebel Souls by Suzanne Young, which is the 3rd book in the Girls with Sharp Sticks series. This one doesn't have a date set either, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come out in 2021. I could be wrong about that, but I hope it does because I really want to read it. I'm really anticipating it. Girls with Razor Hearts was one of my favorite books of 2020. I keep saying that, so obviously these are my most anticipated releases, but I can't wait to see where this story goes, and I really hope that it comes out like soon. So those are all of the books that I am highly anticipating for 2021. I'm sure that I will be adding more to this list as books get announced, but for right now, those are the ones that have been announced, have date set, at least for most of them, and I just can't wait to pick them up. Let me know in the comments down below what your most anticipated release of 2021 is, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye!